Is there a right and wrong? Is there a good and evil? If so, what do we use to define these two sides? Is everything in life really relevant? Or is life only relevant because we've decided it so? Today we live in a society that disregards traditional ethics, only to claim an ethical infrastructure that is ever-changing and without a constant and solid foundation of its own. They're attacking the most universal truths that exist in nature. It's as if they pull it from thin air. Right is now left, up is now down, a man is now a woman. Free speech is now dangerous. To voice a different opinion is now actually considered an attack. Just recently, they were calling the word freedom inherently racist. More and more, society has us identifying ourselves with our exterior. What color are we? How much money do we have? What gender are we? And now some are even questioning the very basics of human gender itself, using it as if it's Play-Doh that they can just shape and mold as they please. Marriage and family are now very difficult to navigate in a world that is more against these institutions than they are in favor. Children these days are now more considered an optional nuisance while being preyed upon by mentally deranged people groups and individuals. And ironically, these individuals and people groups are more and more protected and even supported by our very own government. In today's modern times, both parents are expected to work outside the home and make ends meet, while these children are left into the hands of toxic educational systems and mediums of communication that have an overpowering negative influence on our children. It's as if there's almost nothing that supports the nuclear family. We are normalizing psychological disorders while alienating that which is natural, logical, and reasonable. And we're allowing it to happen with minimal resistance. Why? Why are we doing this? There's an obvious attack on our natural role in this world. This is causing fewer and fewer people to get married, have families. And at this exact point in time, the human race is starting to decline when we observe the birth-to-death ratio statistics, which means that we're heading for a massive drop-off in the next 2 to 3 decades if we don't change direction soon. But how can we, when the doctrine of our national and global leaders structurally destroy the elements that support people starting and valuing family life? And now we're slowly starting to wake up as a society and notice that there's an obvious concerted effort from corrupt politicians and rich oligarchs who are behind our world's current chaos and destructive ideological campaigns. For some reason, they seem to loathe our own humanity and feel that they need to control us without voting them into power. Folks, these people are not woke, nor are they some heroic contrarian to society. No. Make no mistake, they are a cancer to humanity. They use campaigns of man-made global climate change and forced vaccination for a virus that has less than 1% of a death rate. They use such labels to divide us, such as fascist, racist, xenophobe, homophobe, mislabeling the multitude, and they're not even using these powerful words correctly. In fact, it is them who are labeling and segregating us in such a way that devalues anyone who is not a part of their group. These rich oligarchs use corrupt politicians to create strife where there's less than what they promote, having some believe that one side of the population hates them over something trivial. They are causing a multitude of people to become lost at their core identity, causing global strife while coincidentally presenting solutions to our problems that they are causing. And because of this, it creates tensions on all sides. And these tensions build, and new tools of control are added into our lives as laws. The reality is, the vast majority of people don't care what your skin tone is, nor do we care what you have between your legs, nor do we care who you have between your legs as long as they're consenting adults. The reality is, the ones who promote these labels the most are usually the ones who are the fascists, the ones who are very organized and fanning the flames of conflict with their intentions to control and mandate. And whether we choose to accept it or not, we are entering a war for our freedoms again. The scariest part of this is that it's happening on the heels of artificial intelligence. We're about to experience the explosive boom on AI that has had the greatest minds of the world very concerned, and rightfully so. This technology rests in the hands of rich oligarchs and corrupt politicians, while we continue to pretend that our life is normal. And folks, it's not. And it's time to wake up. And this is where the Gens Axiom Principium enters the fold. Society's greatest divider are our belief systems. Society has an extremely diverse body of belief systems. Whether your belief system includes a God or not, it's still just a belief system that we all individually possess for ourselves and operate from on a daily basis. And as lighthearted as this may sound to some, what we don't recognize is the power that it has over our lives. Our belief system is the core of who we are. There will never exist anything more intimate than our own belief system. It is more intimate to us than our parents, our family, friends, spouses, loved ones. Our belief system is more intimate to us than anyone we could ever claim to love. To disagree with this means that that individual is willing to change their beliefs based on another person. Now, I don't know any logical person who does that. That's the power of our belief system. It's the core, the nucleus of who we are. And sadly, many of the influential leaders of this world have us programmed to hate one another, so much so that we find it almost impossible to recognize that we actually have a lot in common. Because there has to be a common ground that we can all exist on. And there is. The Gens Axiom Principium is not a religion. But we do support religious faiths and secular belief systems that are fundamentally peaceful. The Gens Axiom Principium is a philosophical belief system based on timeless principles that are passed down from some of the greatest philosophers and spiritual leaders. The principles that we host are our interpretation of grounded ethics that are based on the laws of nature and its behaviors. And one doesn't have to give up their faith in God to follow the Gens Axiom Principium. It can be a standalone belief system to those who identify with it as such, but it's also a framework of a belief system that can house various fundamental, peaceful, religious, and secular belief systems. In other words, it's like believing in Stoicism while you continue in your religious faith if you have one. Does that make sense? Forgive me for the extended explanation, but we don't want people to misunderstand what and who we are. Because the reality is, the atheist, the agnostic, Christian, Muslim, Jew, Buddhist, and many others, a vast majority of us do believe in natural principles. And when I say that, I refer to the principles that are grounded in the laws of nature and its behaviors. For example, according to the principium of good and evil, what is truly good comes from nature. What is truly good almost always carries the characteristics of building, producing, healing, protecting, and giving freedom. Which means that what is truly evil comes from nature being manipulated to kill, steal, destroy, and control. Now, for us at the Gens Axiom Principium, this is a fundamental truth. So, what does the name Gens Axiom Principium mean? The Gens Axiom Principium's name is in Latin with a deep significance. Principium means principle. Gens means people or the people. Now, an axiom is defined as a self-evident truth. In fact, an axiom is defined as a statement or a concept that is so self-evident or well-established that it is accepted without controversy or question. Basically, it's what we call a foundational truth. That's an axiom. As used in modern logic, an axiom is a premise or a starting point for reasoning. Alternative perspectives of the word axiom is also considered a pivoting point or even a new beginning. And I like that, a pivoting point. a new beginning. And that's what the Gens Axiom Principium is about a set of principles defined and structured for humanity into a new beginning based on the universe's self-evident natural design. We are not concerned if you believe in a God or not. Your deeper beliefs are your own. We want humanity to return to its natural role in this world. Are you with us? And we ask this because the Gens Axiom Principium isn't just a belief system. It's also a call to action. What best unifies humanity is our belief in natural principles. What best preserves humanity is that we work together to maintain our natural role. Does this make sense? Now listen, I know this world is changing. New concepts are popping up all over the place. I would have never imagined myself formalizing such a thing as the Gens Axiom Principium. It started out by me taking notes of principles that I researched that have true natural value for people as a whole. At best, it was going to be an inspirational book, written to challenge and intrigue the reader. And after over a decade of writing in my journal and observing what's going on in the world, I started to see that what I was writing had a body to it and could bring people together where they are divided. And that's why we present it the way we are presenting it. The lines are drawn, and the sides are quite obvious at this point. And if we're going to protect humanity and preserve our future, this is the moment in time where we decide to stand up now or get washed away by the wave of tyranny that is positioning itself to overcome us. The Gens Axiom Principium will launch its book sometime towards the latter half of this year. Now, we don't pretend to possess absolute truth, by the way, nor do we expect everyone to agree with us. That's not our goal, and it never will be. For this reason, we don't travel too deeply beyond what we present. We respect the deeper beliefs of the individual. Now check out our channels as we've just relaunched the Gens Axiom Principium. So subscribe, like, and even support us so that we can have a greater impact. We have to unite. You will see me posting this constantly. We need to come together. So, my name is Jacob Wilkerson. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And this is the introduction to the Gens Axiom Principium.